He always thought that acting was a stupid decision. Broke under the pressure of him wanting me to come. She was leaving him because of his drinking problem. I enjoyed the partying, and I just kind of slipped through. I didn't make myself accountable, so it ended up I had the decision to make. After I graduated high school, I never thought I'd be here. I wasn't very studious. I didn't do my homework or study at all, and I just kind of slipped through. And I graduated on time with all my credits. My social life in high school was, I'd go out maybe 3 times a month. I'd drink with the football players. I was always somewhat constricted, as in the sense that I had a curfew and stuff. Like, I had to be home by midnight and stuff. But when I got to college, I didn't have a curfew. I didn't have rules. I was 19, so I could drink when I wanted to drink, and I could do what I wanted to do and not have to worry about the consequences of my parents finding out or anything. So as high school was nearing an end, I realized that I needed to apply to schools. So I applied to Ryerson and York for their acting programs. I got offered the auditions, and I was going to go to them, but I let my parents' decisions choose my future. My parents were both factory workers, but halfway through grade 11, my parents both lost their jobs to factory closures. My dad wanted me to get into a profession that's more stable than what he had. As a result of my dad not supporting my acting dreams, I applied to Humber for the architectural technology program, and after I got accepted, I kind of broke under the pressure of him wanting me to come. After high school, I was coming to Humber, and I was expecting it to be a blast, and for the first month it actually was. I drank far more alcohol than I should have, and like everybody kind of accepted the whole party mentality for the first couple weeks. But then as soon as school started, I started to realize that I enjoyed the partying more than I actually enjoyed attending classes. And it led me to skip classes, sleep through classes. If I actually decided to go to class, I'd sleep in class. Then around November, I realized that my grades had taken a huge hit, and that if I wanted to stay at Humber and if I wanted to keep partying, that I would need to switch programs or either try really hard to get my grades back up. So I decided to switch programs in November. I switched into the business program. I started that in January, and eventually I decided in March that I wasn't going to go back to school the following year. And so I decided that I wanted to act as a career. They told me, well, why wouldn't you just come back to St. Thomas and not have to kind of like try to be on my own, so I'd be more sheltered at home and stuff. So it ended up I had the decision to make between trying to create my life on my own or heading back to St. Thomas to live at my parents' house and try to reestablish myself there. Right now, I work at a factory full-time. It's me and like Steve and a bunch of guys who like to go and have a couple of beers after work. And that's pretty much it right now. I was drinking with Steve the one time, and I always had to go back to his place after the bar. And I knew that he was older than me, but I didn't realize how much older he was. And he told me that he had a son, and I was like, oh, how old's your son? And he said that his son was the same age as me. So that kind of hit me, and I was like, do I want to be this guy when I'm 39 years old, drinking with a 20-year-old, and talking about how I make $12 an hour at a factory? And then that's not the life that I want. I feel like for the past 6 months, I've been kind of swimming against the current, and all the past experiences, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff that's happened, I I look at it as experience and that I can learn from that. And I realize that as long as I'm able to do stuff that I enjoy throughout the rest of my life, I can look back and say that even if I didn't have a set career, that I'm still happy with what I did with my life.
I make the same mistakes, feels like I never learn. Always give way too much for little in return. I haven't changed a bit, I'm still not over it. I make the same mistakes, I make the same mistakes. Are